The What's Neat This Week podcast is supported by enthusiastic model railroaders just like you. Additional support is provided by Oak Hill Model Railroad Track Supply. Check them out. Their website is ohrtracksupply.com. Thank you very much, Jeff Otto, for your support.
What glasses do I have?
You have the right glasses, hopefully.
All right, we're all tight. We got Lionel. Who do I got here? Ace and Quinn. Don't let me forget if I forget. Okay.
Oh, all right.
You not
I know Chris Palomares. I got to get that right. Joe Fugate.
I'll be Joe, too.
Okay, somebody give me a countdown, please.
3, 2...
This is the What's Neat This Week podcast for January 6, 2018. This is podcast number 23. Throw a log in the fire and pour yourself a hot cup of tea tonight because we've got Lionel Strang all the way from the cold north with us this evening. I've got Michael Buddy. We also have special guest Jason Quinn. And of course our favorite Daniel Cumes.
You know you like those letters that just pop up right there, right?
They keep popping up and I go slow. And of course we've got Dirk Reynolds behind the camera, but we don't have a camera pointing at Dirk tonight.
I'll get on it. I'll get on it.
You can still hear his voice. So.
Lionel, welcome. Let's check your sound.
Okay, hey, how am I? I can't believe I'm on the Ken Patterson show. I'm like so excited.
This is awesome.
I'm glad you're here, Lionel.
You sound fantastic, and we have you in full frame.
It's excellent.
I know. How do I look?
Dude, you're handsome as can be.
Strikingly handsome.
We love you, Lionel. Now, Lionel, you've got a podcast. Tell us about your podcast. It's quite successful, and they talked about us and this show on your podcast.
We did. On episode 89, I was doing I have a once a year, I talk to Joe Fugate. I call it the State of the Hobby. And we were interviewing Joe Fugate, and then we started talking about Daniel, because we were excited about Daniel being in the hobby. And then we got to the end, and towards the end, and we started, I asked him one question. I says, can I ask you a question about Ken Patterson? And he says, sure. And I said, Ken wears me out. I can't keep up with the guy. Like how, is there like 3 of Kens? Do you remember the movie Multiplicity?
It's not really that bad, Lionel. I don't know what it looks like from the outside looking in, but from the inside, when you're awake, you got to work, right?
Yeah, I suppose.
You get to sleep. I slept. I did a project for Athearn. I'm going to show some pictures of it right now. We just finished those trade show displays. Chris Palomares has set them up at a show. He just drove straight through from my house to Pennsylvania on Thursday. And these trade show displays were the roundhouse that I built with it's actually a turntable scene. It's round. It sits on a beautiful pedestal. And of course, the Bachman Easy Track layout for selling train sets. Both setups look really good in the trade show area. And after working through on a straight 29-hour day to finish both those projects so they'd be ready for him to pick up, for some reason I slept 17 hours after that.
Can't imagine.
So for those that don't think I get sleep, I sometimes hibernate.
29 hours.
It was 29 hours.
Right.
Well, it was a roundhouse, and you have to go procedure step by step. Rails, cut the pit with a router, the whole bit in order to build it.
Didn't you make the
29 hours? Who works 29 hours?
Well, it was really weird. I did it like I do a video. I didn't even look at the roundhouse. I literally followed procedure and built it, and when it was finished, I looked at it. As long as the measurements were correct and everything lines up completely all the way around, vertically level in 2 different directions, and then lines up with 5 different tracks, you're good.
Yeah.
And it all worked out. And the most important setting is that last-minute setting when you glue the base of the turntable into the pit. That part's got to be right. So luckily it all worked out. I think it's like number 5 that I built for them. And you get to play with it at all the trade shows now. And we're going to put a motor in it so it spins around like a little jewelry cabinet. It'll be neat.
Wow.
Yeah,
It will be nice.
Will it be at Springfield?
Yeah, probably so. Wherever Athearn sets up, it will be. We're going to build some more because after Chris saw it, and it sits on this beautiful pedestal. After Chris saw it, he loves it. So there'll be more. It's pretty cool.
I'm gonna go play with it at Amherst at the Spring. It's Amherst or Springfield or the Great Train Show. I don't know what they call it. It's one of those multi-named shows.
Awesome.
Have you ever been to Springfield?
Yes. Yeah, I flew out there one day, and this was years ago. I went to visit Louis Polk. I was back in a large scale back then, and I flew out to the show just to see him. I was in and out. I saw the line around that building. It was just
I know.
amazing. I actually shot videotape of that. I hope I'm not going to look for it right now so I can edit this correctly. But I actually shot video high 8 of that show, and actually the line wrapped around the building.
It is. It's huge. It's huge. It's a lot of fun.
No, it's amazing. I'm going to go to Jason Quinn for a second here, Lionel. Jason, you came by today, and you're shooting some videos for the What's Neat show over at Model Railroad Hobbyist Magazine.
Yeah.
You want to give us a little bit about kind of secrets and what's coming up in the next few months for us?
Well, it's going to be a lot of how-tos. It's geared towards being simple, so people that don't really know a lot about the hobby can learn this and kind of get you up to speed and have some nice products coming out. So we try and be very simple with it, and hopefully you get some nice benefits out of it on your skills.
No, you're awesome. People love you on camera. The feedback's been fantastic. When you go to train shows, do you find that people sort of recognize you from the show? Have you gotten anything like that?
Yes, I have.
How about that?
I
was just asking just for the ask.
yeah.
I didn't think you were going to say yes.
Yeah, the funny thing is I recognize the train more, like the Lehigh Valley patch car and the Chessie train
Yeah,
that I
that's
run.
beautiful, that Lehigh Valley.
You do
And then
great work.
they see my ugly mug back there, and then they come talk to me.
That's awesome. I would like to thank Wathers for featuring part of the What's Neat over at Model Road Hobbyist, the January video. They put a portion of the January video on the Wathers website where we did a little bit of talk about the Wathers catalog and how it's one of the most important tools in your arsenal.
It is.
Because quite honestly, there's no better product, in my opinion, that you can go through very quickly
Well, you can plan your layout through the book.
and see what's
Yeah.
out there. Even for the new beginner who's in the hobby, who knows nothing about trains, if you get a Wathers catalog in your hand, it can just open up those thoughts in your mind because you can see what's available.
It's excellent.
Yep.
So, to make a long story short, they gave us a really nice endorsement on their Facebook page. Thank you very much, Wathers. Thank you very much. That was a nice deal. What else do we have going on besides the fact that it's really been cold here? I did a Bachmann shoot this week. I can't talk anything else about that. But it was 18 degrees. And there was a lot of ice on the river. It's just absolutely amazing, the hunks of ice that are flowing down the Mississippi River right now. At night, when you stand outside, it sounds like thunder as the ice is hitting the bottom of all the parked barges and rakes on the side of the river. It's just this constant crashing sound. But I went down and shot some video of the river up close, and it's just kind of cool, something you don't see every day. But it's been cold here for about 15 days in a row where it's literally not been above 32 degrees Fahrenheit. And what is that in Celsius, Lionel? Do you know?
0.
That's 0, and 32 degrees is not cold.
It's not.
Where I am right now, it's cold. It's 10 below Fahrenheit. That's cold.
Okay, I have
it
nothing
is.
else to say about temperature.
Right.
I'm done with that.
He trumped
Tell me, Mike, you wanted to talk about some cars that we skipped past last week?
Oh, yeah. Well, those cars that we made on the video, we resin cast cars a few weeks ago. I was working on those this week. And here's one that I super detailed. And there's some pictures that Ken can post on there on the website. And then I got another nice little truck from Greg Dixon. It's an old Chevrolet, or GMC B cab, actually. And it's a nice casting. He sent me the cab, so I cast some other parts from Athearn wheels and frame,
That's
everything,
beautiful,
and
man.
decided to make it rusty. And then when I was at the hobby shop today, I got one of those Trainworks
Oh, nice.
drop frame trailers. Man, they are really nice.
That is neat. Dude,
So,
can I touch it?
They're
Sure,
excellent.
yeah.
Wow, check it out.
So,
Actually, this is neat. This is neat. This is what's neat this week. This is
Yes,
the
it
whole
is.
point of the show is right there, right? Lionel,
Yeah.
what do you think about that? Can you see this?
I can see it. It's beautiful. I love everything that Mike does. I am so
Wait a
impressed
minute.
with the
You
work
guys
Mike
talked.
does.
You talked about Mike on the show too, didn't you?
I talk about Mike all the time because I think Mike is like one of the best. Thanks to you, Ken, the exposure he gets on your show.
Yeah.
I think Mike is one of the best modelers in the country, certainly for scale vehicles.
Oh, Lionel, you just said the
Thank you.
magic word, and that's the
Yeah.
word exposure. And that
Right.
reminds me that this podcast is sponsored by Jeff Otto at Oak Hill Model Railroad Track Supply.
We don't have that template.
I don't have any templates.
you gotta hang it
They're
up?
all hanging on the wall. But the whole point is, Jeff and I talked yesterday on the phone, and quite honestly, he is absolutely thrilled with the amount of sales that he has received from advertising on this podcast. It's taken a few weeks for it to happen, but y'all are calling up and saying we've seen Ken's show and we want what it is you're selling. And people are so far very happy with his system because it's wonderful, because you can use regular wooden railroad ties in his jigs to scratch build your turnouts, prefab, and then position them anywhere on your layout that you want. You could cut your own ties, buy ties that you've already got in your supply of ties in your stock. It's easy and ready to go. Pop, 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 lay the rail, and you're done. So check them out. ohrtracksupply.com is the website to go. And thank you very much, Jeff Otto, for your support. And we have Athearn starting to sponsor this show starting in January, and this is January, but we weren't going to do a podcast tonight. We decided last minute to do the show, and in fact, we called up Lionel literally 10 minutes ago just to see if he was still awake and wanted to play along with us this evening. Thank you for cooperating with us, Lionel.
Thanks.
But the fact is, once we get some graphics and the correct advertising medium from Athearn, then we'll run that at the beginning of the show so that it'll be the professional show is sponsored by da-da-da-da-da, and that should work out very well.
That will be nice to
So
see.
thank you for bringing us into that conversation, Lionel. I love how you guide the show along.
Yeah.
I'm here to please. Can you call me Chris from now on?
Chris, hey, Chris, you said you were too tired to be on the show tonight because you've been working that show and driving all those miles, but I'm glad to have you, Chris Palomares. Now, on the podcast, when I listened to your show the other day, you said, Joe, how do you say Chris's name? And Joe said it relatively correctly, but the whole point was you stopped in mid-sentence because you didn't want to go on and say, well, Patterson's been saying it wrong for the last 22 shows. It's not Chris Palomares, it's Chris Palomares.
Okay.
So I have been corrected on that.
I could never be sure if it was Chris or not.
I've never had this much fun in 15 minutes before. It doesn't seem legal. We got some more time to go. We almost are going to get to readers' questions. I do want to talk about the two favorite photographs that I shot last year. The only reason I think they're my favorites is they're the only two I've got hanging up in the basement right now. And Daniel, I don't know what the name of that engine is.
It should be a Z8 Challenger.
That's it. That's the
4664
brand new
configuration.
Challenger that Athearn came out with, and we built this gorgeous trestle scene for it. And then Chris Palomares filled in the smoke and everything. See that? I could learn.
Yeah.
This is almost embarrassing. Can I edit that out? And then the next picture is this beautiful shot of the wharf using those Woodland Scenics
LED lights.
just
quick
plug
just
lights.
plug system.
Right.
March 2016.
What a gorgeous
What's neat?
photograph. I just love this photograph.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, like
And these are both in the videos. What videos are these in, Daniel?
March 2016, I believe. This
the
is
lights?
January 20.
January 2016. Okay.
Or no, this is March 2016, and that's January 2016.
How do you know all this?
I don't know.
All right.
It's
And
just my
what
brain.
videos was Jason Quinn in? Do you know that, or should I not ask you?
Don't ask me that.
Okay, I won't.
Sorry, Jason, I don't remember.
Lionel, jump in anytime and save me here, brother.
All right. Well, I don't remember what video Jason's in either. But it was a good one. I remember watching it. I don't remember the number, but I remember watching it. It was a good one.
What's your favorite What's Neat video?
Actually, I liked it when you were talking to Michael Gross.
Mm-hmm.
I just like.
That was a neat interview. Isn't he a nice guy? When he comes over here, everybody stands and gets their pictures taken, and he's so polite. He plays along. He smiles. He's the most just genuinely nice guy. And I'm not just saying that to say that. This guy's really cool, if you know what I mean. He's just really great to hang out with. You feel comfortable with him.
Yeah.
I can't say enough about Michael.
When I was in Chicago at the RPM meet in Chicago, I ended up in the dinner line behind him. And seemed like a nice guy to me. I mean, I started talking to him, and he's kind of like, "Don't bother me, kid. Go away."
I
don't believe that.
I don't know if I should tell this story or not, but the very first time I met Michael Gross, it might have been like 15 years ago, maybe. It might have been it had to be 15 years ago. And we were at a trade show in Chicago back when they used to have the big hobby model show in Chicago, the trade show where all the manufacturers would get together. And he would go to that show. And one time we went in the cafeteria. He's like, "Ken, would you please show me your photographs?" And I was like honored. Sure, you can take all my pictures and look at them. Go ahead, here, go. And we're sitting at a booth table, and we're going through the pictures. And I looked around the room, and every face in the room was looking at my table. Now, that doesn't happen to me. You know, nobody pays attention to me. But sitting with him was like magnetic. It was magnetic. It was neat, and he did like my picture, so it was all good.
All right.
That's always a plus, isn't it?
Well, do you mind if I show the thing real quick that I got?
What do you got?
All right. Well, Christmas.
Daniel.
I forgot to show this last week, but this is kind of cool.
You got this for Christmas?
Yep. My little brother picked it up at Kimmswick, Missouri. It's basically a portrait of Norfolk and Western 1218 on the right side, the Class A 2664 articulated. On the left, you got the N&W J Class 484 Northern, which this is still in operation. It's to this day. It's been restored.
611.
Yeah, May 2015.
Okay.
I don't know for sure.
And,
I think
and
it's
you're
made-
gonna tell us it lights up.
Yep, it lights.
Yes.
Well, if we can.
It doesn't work on these lights, but trust
But
us, it lights up.
there's two
If you were in the
LEDs.
dark, the headlight. Oh, they are lit up. You can
Yeah,
see it.
You can,
Yeah.
Oh, that's neat.
So I hang them on my wall and just turn them on at night and say, "Oh, here comes the trains."
That's awesome.
So I thought that was pretty neat.
Yes.
That's
Nice.
awesome. Where do you want to go after that?
Read his
Mike talked
questions.
about your stuff.
Well,
Lionel's raising his hand.
Lionel, say
Yes,
something.
Lionel.
Say something, brother.
I have two questions. I have a question and a comment.
okay.
What are all these locomotives on the table?
Here's the guy to talk to right here.
Jason.
Jason,
What a
why don't
great
you-
question, Lionel.
Well, they're table
Look
decorations.
at all these engines. Oh, these are beautiful. What is
Well,
all this?
I'll tell you what. The most of these engines are your buddy Shane from,
Shane Wilson.
from Scale Trains.
And who are all the other wonderful employees that work there?
Well, there's a lot of them. I can't remember all the top
Yeah,
of my head.
there's
Paul
Paul
Ellis.
Ellis.
Paul Ellis. What a
I
nice
talked
guy.
to
Paul.
Everybody gets
Paul
to meet
Ellis
Paul.
is a
Right.
great guy.
Yes.
I've run into him at RPM meets.
I
He's
shot
just-
video of him one time.
He's just an awesome guy.
They're down at Cocoa
Those
Beach
guys do
now.
magnificent work, and we also have an Athearn engine here.
There
too.
is a new Athearn
The new
STP-40F
That's
down here.
Sweet, with the
With
Tsunami
Tsunami
2
2.
sound in it.
It's
Yep.
Tsunami 2, and then
Did you hear us all say that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just in
Tsunami
unison.
2. And then there's just an old Atlas SD35, the Western Maryland.
And you
Circus.
weathered all of these.
Everything on the table except Mike's stuff.
You know, the snowplows are interesting on those chassis engines. That's something I've never seen before.
Yeah, they're called a rock pilot. It's more rounded than a snowplow.
That's neat. That,
really not
You know, this is like brass. They get these engines so absolutely
Yeah.
accurate to the prototype these
Prototype,
days,
yeah.
and it's not brass; it's plastic.
Yes.
They're well
But
as,
they look like the real thing.
as
Thank goodness for computer technology. Everybody's doing just beautiful models, and we get the benefit of all of this. So we get to play with these awesome models.
Now these are really
So why did he?
concept-
Why did he bring them? What were you guys doing with them?
well, that's a secret.
No, that's part of the video coming up in
Yeah.
February and
Stay
March.
tuned.
Oh, okay.
Stay
All right.
tuned.
Something about I don't know, but it's cool.
They're all
I
scaled.
want to see him run on the layout. Quite honestly, I just want to see him run.
Couple
When we
more
run
do
some
have
train,
sound,
let's
right?
do a closing credits roll with some of these engines and your cars. He brought a whole train over here tonight too, so we get a whole
Okay.
different train for closing
yeah.
roll credits in another I don't know few minutes.
Yeah,
Stay tuned.
I don't want to go yet. I just got here.
We're not gonna do the live thing, are we?
I have
No, we're not doing
another
live tonight.
comment and/or question.
Yes.
Yes,
Go ahead.
So I have a friend in Ripon, Wisconsin. His name is Andy Dorsch, and he's very into statistics and YouTube and social media, and he's been tracking your subscribers on your video channel, on your YouTube channel, and it's going up like crazy. I see you're at 2,929 subscribers as of this moment right now.
Yeah, I've never paid attention to that number before. That's interesting.
Well,
It's strong.
and
What's
it's
more
good. You get
important?
71
Are
more-
the views more
se-
important? Because I know we're getting a solid 20,000 views a month on the podcast, and the What's Neat shows have all just
Like
broken
40,000.
3 million views.
Oh.
We've got 3 million views on all the What's Neat shows together right now. So people are definitely watching the content that we're producing and putting out on the internet. And just based on what they said on your show, the comments on your show, it's nice to hear it come from a third party. It's just it's reassuring. It's confidence
you know what I
building.
enjoy about the show? But which one is this called again? Life with Ken or something? I forget.
What's Neat This Week podcast.
This is the What's
Oh
Neat.
yeah,
correct.
that's right.
And then the other show at
And
Model
that-
Railroad Hobbyist Magazine is simply called What's Neat.
Right. Okay, so there's What's Neat and then What's Neat This Week podcast. I like that. Okay. So anyways, this one, I'm going to be very critical. Okay, is that okay?
I'm so glad you're here.
Okay. This has been getting better and better and better each time you guys do one. I think that it's getting smoother. It's getting watchable. I like Daniel. You're doing a great job.
You are.
Thank you for the kind words.
I really like watching Mike. Mike, you need to get more recognition for your unbelievable modeling
more
skills, and I
automatics
actually have
and
questions about your trucks and cars. And the other thing is, what's wrong with Dirk Reynolds? Why doesn't he get in front of the
Dirk,
camera?
Dirk, can you
very
just
camera
step in
shy.
front of some camera somewhere and show that you're actually here? Because we don't have a camera operating on you right now. Get out here. Show us yourself.
Just show the public.
Oh,
There's 2 cameras running. Pick one.
That was his stomach.
that was my shoulder. It ain't that big yet.
Will the camera even focus on you?
Yeah. Sure. Okay.
Dirk's really here tonight.
There
I'm
he
here.
is.
This is for Lionel. I'm never on camera. The cameras fail. We're
Is your
gonna
head-
get another
is your
video
head
camera.
getting cut
Are
off?
we getting there? I don't know. Can you
He's
see?
really, he's
Did you
not
line
in-
yourself
in,
up?
in the
Can you
picture.
see?
No,
Yeah.
you gotta. No, Dirk,
Down
the
here.
camera's right here.
Dirk.
I'm over
Yeah,
here.
where?
Dirk, the camera's right there.
Well, I know.
There he
he's
is.
there,
Maybe
but
you
I'm
should-
There he is.
there,
Oh,
too.
okay, I see him now.
Yeah, see, I'm here.
Yeah, there
So-
you go.
Okay, Dirk, you're a natural beauty. You should be on camera more.
Oh, wonderful. Why don't we go to a question here?
Let's do.
Let's do that.
How about Scott Eastburn? Ken, on your ladder track, what were the dimensions of your board, specifically the new ladder track width?
Did you say 17 inches?
I want to say it was 6 feet long. Is that what you mean? How long was it? 6 feet long, and each section was, I don't know. I'd actually have to go measure it. I want to guess 15 inches wide, maybe.
I think I took a tape measure to it. I saw 6 feet long and about 5 feet wide, but that was including the number 6s.
Okay.
So probably around 3 feet with just the number 5 from Woodland Scenic.
Just to solve any confusion about the whole switch system, I'm going to go get a set of Pico number 5s and line them up to the microengineering number 5s and see if there's a difference. Let's see what
That's a good
happens.
idea.
Let's see what happens.
Any more
All
questions, Dirk?
Space calendar. On the yard leads, I noticed the track connectors were already on them. Do they come that way from microengineering? Track
asking me?
connectors.
The joiners.
What, like
I get
Oh,
the joiners.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess.
yeah. The switches that are already for the ladder system have already got joiners on them.
Okay.
If I remember right.
But you
yes.
can buy a 50 pack for microengineering separately. So
Right.
But I like using Atlas N-scale rail joiners with your code 70 and code 83 rail because they're very small. They're not obtuse. They don't look big. Try it. Atlas rail joiners. Here's the tip of the show right here. Because they're small, they don't hardly show up. Atlas. I used them on the Kimmswick Bridge. The rails popped up on my Kimmswick Bridge because of our extreme temperature changes we had. You know, it was 2 degrees below zero last night, and then it's 30 today. So because of that, the Kimmswick track actually popped off. I had to notch it out with a Dremel to snap it back in place. But I used N-scale rail joiners on it because they're small. You hit them with some microengineering, darken it, that acid that they sell, and they'll become dark. So try that.
This is from Buford Hart. I need help with coupler heights. My Walthers Amtrak Amfleet cars, the couplers are either too high or they're too low. What would be the best way to fix this? What couplers would work best? Number 147 with low shanks?
I would say if you can, is there a center screw on each of the trucks?
I would start with getting a Katy coupler gauge. They sell gauges in N scale, HON3, HO scale, O scale. They have gauges for all scales so that when you install your Katy couplers, you can get the height right on each one. And then Katy offers multiple different couplers in their line, higher shelf couplers, low shelf couplers, so that you can actually put a coupler on that's got a higher and lower knuckle on it, about 40 thousandths of an inch for each one.
Well,
so check that out.
when
Are
I
those
was-
couplers body mounted or Talgo on those cars?
Right, so
I think
you got to consider all of this
Yeah.
as you look at those coupler heights.
I was also going to say if you could take out the center screw, if the trucks are screwed in, like unscrew it and then put the Katy washers that
Right?
they've supplied.
I got the red ones, I got the gray ones.
Okay.
All right. Now, Mike and I are going to do this at the same time after this question.
What are you
okay? Are you ready?
What?
He says, Daniel, this is from Tom. It just says Tom.
Okay.
Daniel, can you do an install of an OU-812 into and BR-549?
OU812? That
Does-
sounds like Van Halen to me.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, so my phone
This
number
is
is
a prank.
I81U812. Just give me a call anytime
What
you
is
want.
this?
We don't
I think
know
that-
what that
I
is.
think that was a
okay,
joke.
so if you can, Tom, if you can...
That was a joke. It had to
If
be.
you can redo that and give us a better
All right, Dirk.
description,
I'd be glad to do
Done.
it for you.
maybe Daniel can do that.
Say something, Lionel.
All right,
Save
here
us.
we go. Jason Pelton, what would you recommend for someone starting a layout again? That seems like a general question. I'm not really sure where he's coming from on this, but
Like
pretty broad
train
question.
set?
like
Start small. Start small.
Oh,
Build a
if you
small
were
layout.
if you were to build another layout tomorrow, how about that?
For
What would
Yeah.
it be? What would it be if you built another layout tomorrow?
It'd be small. If it was me, if I was building a layout, I'd build like a 2-foot by 10-foot layout and finish it. With
Right.
good track work and high end. My best modeling that I could do. Something that I could actually finish and go, okay, that
like
was pretty.
small modules, small sections. Then you do them one at a time.
Rather than try to build, something gigantic like some people do, and some
Right.
people are really good at building really big layouts. But some people, it would be prudent to build something small first, and you could learn all about DCC. You could learn about different modeling techniques. So I would, if it was me, I'd build something 2-foot by 10-foot or 2-foot by 8-foot
Right.
in any scale you wanted.
Yeah.
all right. What about Joe Fugate's idea about one module at a time?
There you
The
go.
Toma.
I think-
Toma
Yeah.
series.
Moment.
It
Right.
builds on itself. You can't really go wrong.
Yeah.
I would build exactly what I already built. I just don't want to have to build it over again. But if I were to build another layout, I'd do just what I've already done.
And Toma also stands for the one module approach.
Right.
I've got the best of both
Exactly.
worlds. I got narrow gauge, standard gauge.
But you got to combine a dual.
I mean,
track.
other than going line L or a completely different scale, I wouldn't go N scale right now because I can't see. I got a large scale layout outside, which I'm going to start working on again this spring.
Oh,
It's
right,
been
working on
neglected
it.
for 3 years now.
I think one of the most
I
important.
have a side note about Toma.
Okay.
When Joe told me about the one module approach, I suggested would be Loma, Loma, Lionel's one module approach, but he wouldn't go for that.
I think that's a good idea.
Go
Lionel.
figure. Go
Yeah.
figure.
No, that's the branch line. That's the branch
Yeah,
line.
yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Again, somewhat of a general question. CNW/Union Pacific trains. What would you recommend for brand of manufacturer for track and what code to use?
I mean, is he starting
Isn't that
out?
going to be your situation that you're in?
Well-
If you want code 100, do you want the code 83 prototype look?
Or do you want to code 70? I'd say maybe Atlas at that, code 100 to start out with, or 83 prototypical approach.
Microengineering code 70 is what I'd pick. That's what I just my
I'd
own
go- I'd go
personal.
83.
What would you pick?
Well, it depends on how advanced in the hobby he is, because 100's easiest to work with.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
83, yeah.
83
Yeah,
is
I'm not picking the easiest to work with at all.
83 is roughly what 100-pound rail, 125-pound rail.
Yeah.
Probably around there.
70 is your smaller stuff, but it really depends on what level you're at. You don't want to get something that's over your level of knowledge and then get discouraged
Right.
because it'll never get done. Build small, build onto it, and on CNW, if you want to do CNW stuff, one CNW thing that comes to mind for me is pink ballast.
Mm-hmm. Pink Lady.
Pink?
Yeah,
Ballast.
pink
Yeah.
ballast on
Yeah, Dave
CNW
Davis
stuff.
knows about that.
Yeah, see, Dave Davis has said that a lot. Dirk, we done with readers' questions because we're coming up on the end
yeah,
here.
we got one quickie here and
All right.
then
A
one more.
quickie.
This is from Scott Day 8. Do you think you can do, and I think this is to Daniel, and we asked about this earlier. Do you think you can do a speed match setup for a MRC with two different decoder? And Daniel, I think you said you need to know what decoder we're
I
talking
would like
about.
to know Digitrax NC or something, and also MRC as you're talking about if you got the Prodigy Advanced Squared, you got the Prodigy Elite, or the Express Squared 2, or whatever other systems they've got. But just drop that comment down and I'll be able to find it, and then we'll probably do a little segment on it and what's needed if we can.
Okay, follow up with this one. Captain Bill, number 12. This is the last one. Will you ever do a live feed on Facebook? No. I do have a question concerning DCC. I believe this is a Daniel question. I have heard that Digitrax's newest equipment does not play that well with other equipment. I know there were issues at one point with the new DCS 240 command station running with the older boosters and older throttles. I have read a few things on the internet, and my hobby shop also mentioned this to me. Have you run into any compatibilities with the new and the old Digitrax system use inside?
I can't say much because I got the DCS 51 Zephyr Extra.
The DCS 240, there's an update on the website, Digitrax's website.
All right, firmware.
Thomas Heel shows us how to,
Heil.
shows us how to do the download for the system.
October 2016.
Go check it out.
I think.
Update your system and it will work absolutely perfect. They've made improvements to it. They've made improvements across the board. And
Hands
you
up,
can go and
hand
do
up.
that. Yeah, go
All
ahead.
right, what you got?
I got a question because you're talking about decoders. So, what do you think are the best sound decoders? Which is it?
Oh,
In today's world, there's these guys. You know, what is there?
You know what, Lionel? To be honest, I would think it just depends on your sound variation. There's Loc Sound, ESU. You got Soundtracks, Digitrax, Soundbug.
It's a
MRC.
personal choice issue.
It's really
In the Turbine video where I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Well, what I was just going to say now was also, but then there are a lot of people that want that prototypical like prime mover, and for Loc Sound, they super detail that sound where they got this many cylinders, like a 12-cylinder and a 645 in a Locomotive, but then they got a 16-cylinder turbocharged or even a 12-cylinder non-turbocharged, still an EMD 645.
So personal choice.
It's
What do you wanna
personal
hear?
choice. When you saw the two turbines run by and you read readers' comments beyond that on the videos that we ran where you got two of them side by side, everybody said each one had their strong points.
And
they enjoyed both of them mutually as well. People were very dead set on their opinions on which ones they liked better, but it was pretty even across the board, I got to say. There wasn't really a winner. So the fact is, because we've got all the different varieties of sound systems and manufacturers out there, it just gives us a neat variation of sound across the board.
Speakers make it.
Okay, so Lionel, this is what I look like on camera.
Okay, go sit down
We
right
are
there.
done. We're done.
Lionel,
Yeah, I
say
think-
something
okay,
to
I
us.
underst-
We're
I
going to get
understand
Dirk
now why
back
it's
here
behind
running
the-
the camera again.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
understand
we're going
why
to wrap
he's
this
behind
one
the
up.
camera.
You think Lionel should close it?
I think Lionel should say something funny. Say something funny.
Yeah,
Rescue
let's-
us, Lionel.
Well, it's pretty cool. I like how I think it makes me look younger. This screen. So, anyways, yeah. So, I mean, I love the fact that you asked me to be on here. I think it's really cool what you're doing. I think it's getting better and better, and I love the fact that you're so what's the word? Open with people. You let them ask you questions and stuff, and the way you guys do it off the cuff, I can firsthand tell everybody that this is completely off the cuff. We only worked on the script for about 3 hours.
Yeah.
You're awesome, Lionel.
Yeah.
Guys, we're going to close
I
this
am.
out. Oh, we have a
I am,
delay.
aren't I?
Yeah, you are.
Very
We have a
much so.
2-second delay. Sorry about
No, he's
that.
back.
You can finish your
Lionel
thoughts.
fixed it.
Oh, you did.
I did for a while.
This is-
All right,
I
I'll
love the
shut up
full
now.
screen. This is a great full screen of you.
Yeah.
So with that, I think we're going to end this January 6, 2018 podcast number 23. We've run a little bit over. Throw another log in the fire and watch it again if you guys want. But this is Ken Patterson, Mike Buddy, Daniel Coombs,
You got my name this time. Jason.
Jason Quinn, and of course Lionel Strang.
And Dirk
And the
Reynolds.
invisible man behind the camera, Dirk Reynolds, who we couldn't make it. You're the glue that holds us all together, Dirk. So with that, thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the hobby like we all do, and let's run some trains now.
How about it?
Let's do it.
All right.
All right, take care, guys.
Thank you.